Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is a very quick video on an issue that I had recently with the Blizzard Hurricane 38-inch single motor board. Now, it was having some problems when I hit accelerate to go normally. The motor would spin. It would not spin. I'd later found out over trial and error, as you'll see, that if I got the motor spinning by myself, either moving the board forward, kicking it forward, and then I'd hit the accelerate or the forward button on the remote, it would spin. So I called Blizzard support. They were very courteous and quick to respond, very nice. They gave me all the information I needed. I sent them the motor, they sent me the new motor. So this video is about installing the motor as well, and helping diagnose maybe if you have the same problem. So you'll need some things to change out all the motor itself. You need a socket wrench, some wire snips, a skate tool, a wrench, some zip ties, and they send you a zip for the motor mount, and some heat shrink tubes, and of course the motor. Now you'll see that square bracket inside the motor where it goes onto the truck. You can kind of see in some of these videos where on the truck there's a square, looks like a nut. It just molded into the truck. That's important. That just makes it fit properly. So you got to take all the nuts off of the battery and ECS compartment in order to get into it. Once you get into it, you've got your ECS that you got to hook up to the wheel itself. So there's one trick to this. It's not that complicated. Even if you're not that familiar with wiring, it's very easy. So I put heat shrink tubing around each of the wires that initially it was on there. I had to slice them off to disconnect the bad motor. So I just slide the heat shrink tubes on the wires, and I start to reconnect all the wires for the good motor, yellow to yellow. Now the only trick is, and you'll see that when you remove the motor, green goes to blue and blue goes to green, but just make note of that. I just wanted to kind of mention that while I showed reconnecting each of the cables. Now there's a last cable that goes into the ESC as well, and I'll show that here in a bit. To remove it, I had to use a blow dryer to kind of heat things up, or you can use a heat gun. I wouldn't use a lighter, but I tried to use a blow dryer to heat that up when I put it back in, hopefully to keep it lodged into the circuit board. So once you have all the wires connected there's a clear plastic sleeve on each of them. I just push them up onto each of the wires, threw the heat shrink over on top, and then I ended up using a hairdryer to shrink the heat tubes. I advise probably a lighter or an actual heat gun. Now I forgot to record that part, of course, so that won't be shown.
5 minutes later.
So what wasn't captured on video was the installing the wheel back on the truck. I had to put the wheel onto the truck and put the nut on and just start tightening it with the skate tool to get it to push onto back all the way onto the truck and onto that square piece on the back that I spoke about originally. But it wasn't too difficult. I just had to keep tightening it until it finally got fastened properly. Right now I'm just kind of demonstrating finalizing the heat shrink on the 3 cables that go from the wheel and then eventually into the ESC. So you need to fasten down the cable into the battery box. That's pretty easy. You just need a wrench. You make sure and loosen the inside nut it just kind of slides in, tighten the nut down, good to go. So once that's all done, then you'll just zip tie everything together and put it all back together. Those will be the next few steps. Definitely want to make sure to zip tie the cable that goes on top of the truck. They did supply me with a zip tie, so that was very nice. Just zip tie the cables down. I just used 2 small zip ties. I cannot remember how it came apart, if there were 2 or 3. There was at least 2. So the one thing they mentioned in their video and in the paperwork I received was to not leave the cable sitting on top of the ESC. I'm assuming due to heat issues. So, but once there, that's all back together. Tighten everything up. Put the test, well, here I go testing the wheel. You should do that as soon as you get everything plugged in before you heat shrink the cables, the tubes. So it's good to go. Putting the nuts back on the battery box, and that should be it. And that's really it for wheel replacement. I didn't get the wheel removal, but I'll attach a link down below where Blizzart has done this whole procedure, not from a close-up view, but they have performed it and show the full, pretty much a full procedure, I believe. So I thank you for watching. If you liked the video, like it, subscribe. I've got more videos coming, and I'll just see you in the next video.